Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, is that Mr. Yossi Gestetner?
Yeah, speaking.
How are you doing? It's Boris Johnson here.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Mr. Johnson. Thanks a lot for giving us a couple of minutes here. This is a recorded interview.
Not at all. My pleasure.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So first, I hope to run the...
I haven't got very long. So I've got till about 3 o'clock my time.
All right, that's 11 minutes. That's perfect. So let me ask you a couple of questions. and we'll get this over with, okay?
Okie dokie.
Yeah, first of all, why does the GLA not support and help large families, specifically the Jewish community, with housing extensions?
Well, I think I would dispute the idea that the GLA doesn't give such support. We really do try to be as generous and as helpful as we possibly can. And we've certainly helped Agudas Israel and others to deliver affordable housing specifically for people who have large families, specifically also in the Hackney area. I think we've done pretty well on that. I've opened some beautiful things myself. Ita Simons, the chief executive of the Agudas Israel Housing Association, I think would testify that we've tried to be helpful. And I've seen some of the fantastic things that they build. Really great, big family homes, proper kitchens, kosher kitchens, all that kind of stuff. Staggered balconies, so you can have the thing for, what do you call it when you need to be outside, a kind of temporary. Is it a sukkah or something like that?
Sukkah, yes. That's
yeah.
Yeah,
we do that. Communal gardens, playgrounds, all sorts of stuff. So I think there's a lot of good stuff we're doing. I mean, but specifically, Yossi, on your question about the extensions and conversions, the government is trying to speed these up now. As you know, there's a change to the planning law to make this easier. But the key thing is, if you have a specific proposal, then you've got to talk to Hackney, because they handle those particular planning consents.
All right, fair enough. Let me ask you another thing. Does your government do anything specific for the safety and security of the Jewish community in London? And if yes, can you outline some of them? And again, you said you have until 3 o'clock, which is 9 minutes, and I have a couple of questions. So let's try to make each question and answer as short as possible.
Yeah, okay. Don't you worry. Absolutely, we take this incredibly seriously, and we are very vigilant in trying to reduce hate crime, anti-Semitic crime of all kinds. We work with the Community Safety Trust, and we have 500 specialist officers in the community safety units who try to target offenders and bring down that kind of crime. So I think there's London. My ambition for London is it should be the greatest place on earth for everybody to live, from all communities. And if people have specific problems, specific complaints about what's going on in London, then we are always out there ready to help.
A couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you noticed, but it got a lot of press around the world. A video was circulated that somebody in London, apparently people in the Muslim community, basically, they were harassing somebody who appeared to be gay in London. I
saw this. I didn't actually. I saw the report in the paper about it.
We had the video. It was all over the place. Now, first, do you have a response to such kind of acts? Number one, and number two, and let me ask you very bluntly: are you concerned that the growth of the Muslim community in London is in any way against or stands in the way of the growth of other communities in London, be it gays or whoever else?
Absolutely not. And it's our job to make sure that doesn't happen. And of course, I was concerned when I saw the report. I didn't actually see the video footage, but I saw several reports about the alleged incidents, and I've taken it up with the police. They are the people we're talking about are a group of extremists who are called Muslims Against the Crusades. They do not, by any stretch of the imagination, represent the majority of Muslims in London, and we're determined to come down on them very hard, because they're patently preaching doctrines of intolerance that we find absolutely unacceptable in London today.
Do you think the Jewish community, specifically the Orthodox community, is getting disproportionate bad press in London?
I'm not aware of the Orthodox Jewish community getting a disproportionately bad press. My impression is that they have as good a press as any other community in London, if not better. But maybe you're thinking of something that I haven't picked up on.
All right. What's your take on the EU's refusal to name Hezbollah for what it is, a terrorist group, and put it on the terrorist list?
I have to be careful here because we don't officially have foreign policy here in the mayoralty in London. I have to represent all communities in party, but you can take it, Yossi, before you interrupt. You can take it that I'm very hostile to terrorism anywhere.
Okay. All right, yeah, definitely, Mr. Johnson. Around the world, you were a known person, and therefore, I was comfortable to ask you a foreign policy question. But the answer is fair enough.
Perfectly reasonable.
Okay, now back a minute to the 2012 elections. Mitt Romney, the Republican candidate, said back then that the Olympics seem to have had problems. Based here in New York, we had constant reports, and specifically reports from the UK media, pointing out to a lot of problems ahead of the Olympic Games. So, why did you take offense by Mitt Romney taking a swipe at the Olympics?
Are you serious? You're asking me that question? I think that the reality is that Mr. Romney was, of course, entitled to his view, but I think the truth is that London was as well prepared as any host city has ever been, and that was made clear during the period when Mr. Romney was in London by the International Olympic Committee. So I thought it was regrettable that he chose to speak in the way that he did, particularly since his concerns did not turn out to be vindicated by what happened, to put it mildly. In other words, the Olympic and Paralympic Games were very successful, and the aspects of our preparations that he singled out, the transport system, the security system, they all functioned brilliantly. And I thought it was necessary, since it was obviously a tense time in the days leading up to the Games. I thought it was necessary for me as the mayor to point out to Londoners that we were, in fact, very well prepared.
All right. Let me ask you two more questions, and we'll wrap this up. What's your take on the 2015 elections, the national elections? Do you think that the conservative bloc is the place for the Jewish community to be?
I do. I'm very fortunate in that I have a lot of supporters and great relations with members of the Jewish community here in London, and I believe that the conservative philosophy is one of helping people who aspire to make lives better for themselves and for their families. And conservatism is fundamentally a movement that enables people to get on and do great things in their lives. And it has traditionally been, I think, a philosophy that has been taken up by aspirant immigrant communities from around the world here in London, and it's something that I think a lot of people are going to turn to in 2015 as being the best route forward for our country. What we want is a Britain where the people can have the confidence that if they get up early in the morning, they work hard, they get their businesses ready, they will have a government that's on their side, that doesn't tax them too brutally, that makes sure that they have the homes they need, the transport system they deserve to get their lives moving. And I think that come 2015, you're going to see a lot of people going that way.
One final question: are you planning to stand as conservative leader in 2015? If not, what is your next move?
Yossi, I can give you a world exclusive. I have no such plans. My life is I'm working flat out now to get the Olympic legacy delivered here in London, to make sure that we get the benefit of all those billions we put into the Games, to build hundreds of thousands of new homes, to keep crime coming down, to lengthen London's lead as the greatest city on earth.
So you're staying mayor for now?
I'm staying mayor for the rest of my mayoral term.
All right. Thank you, sir, for your time. Hopefully next.
We came in under 11 minutes.
All right, that's good. Listen, I don't.
Good. Fantastic. Take care.
Yeah. All right, listen, sir. Next time you come to New York, make sure that we got to meet up. You have a lot of fans and supporters, and
I'd love to come. I'd love to hook up. I'd love to hook up if we get to New York.
Very good. Sure.
All the best.
Have a good one, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.